All right. Welcome, welcome. This is Sarah here, and I am going to be guiding you through a channeling, an activation, a healing, clearing, helping clear, beginning to, or if you're already in the process of like really healing the sisterhood wounds that all of us have, to be honest. Every single one of us have right now. If we have grown up in the society that we live in right now or anywhere in the world, all women have these within us to some degree. And it is ripe, the time is ripe for us to clear these from our systems, from our energies, so that we can fully be present in our sovereignty while also feeling connected to each other and not feeling this sense of lack around each other, this need for competition with one another, this feeling of abandonment when things don't go our way, this feeling of rejection when things don't go our way. It is time now for us to clear those things. And a lot of those have deep, deep, deep um, origins, longer than our time when we've been alive, longer than our time in in this current reality in our current physical bodies. So we're holding ancestral wounds. We're holding intergenerational wounds. We're holding past life wounds, all of those things. And has prevented us from being our fullest selves, from coming together to make an even bigger impact in the world. And it is time now for us to let all that go. So I want you all to just be with yourself for a moment and think of a time when you felt rejection from a friend, when you felt abandoned by another woman or a girl when you were younger. I want you to think of that time and be with all of the emotions that come up from that, okay? I want to tell you right now that you are not alone in feeling this way. And I know that you know that. But at a deeper level, really, really knowing that you are not alone in feeling this way. And that I know that you know this, a lot of you do, but the thing about patriarchy, the thing about the suppression of the feminine, of the divine feminine, is women were used to um, really by men, they were used by men um, to further dim the lights of every individual woman. What was done was this um, creation of division within the communities of women. Okay, this creation of division in communities of women that pitted women against each other, that made them fear each other, that made them compete to the attention of men, of the masculine, of being accepted in society. And there have been many subtle and not so subtle ways that this has happened. Okay? Subtle and not so subtle ways. So I don't have any clear examples right now of what I'm talking about, but just think about the way that for such a long time women dressed and one upped each other in order to actually get a man, right? This happens still today. This still happens today. So there's this competition energy that exists between women to get the attention of a man so that they can feel safe, and feel seen, and because they're looking for that outside of themselves. They're looking for that validation from men outside of themselves, right? And so that's one example, right? And it happens in different ways when we're children as well. We one see how women around us behave. We see how women around us behave with men, with each other. We take that on. Um, there's small things that happen just between children when they're very young, where, you know, someone feels like they have a friend in someone, and something happens where they feel a sense of rejection. And instead of feeling that sadness and feeling that, processing it within ourselves, because we don't quite know how to process, because maybe our parents also and our mothers also didn't teach us how to process those emotions, or maybe we were just too young to process those emotions. What happened was that we ended up projecting our feelings of rejection onto that other girl, and saying she's to blame. She is why I feel this way. And instead of being able to come together because maybe we were too young or we didn't have the resources, it was this like, I don't like you anymore. I'm going to no longer want to have anything to do with you. And of course, when you're really young, sometimes that just falls away, and then friendship is returned between the two girls. I've seen this happen with my own daughter. She is 7 years old, and I've seen her have fights with friends of hers, and it breaks my heart because I've been there. I've been there. When I was about 8 or 9 years old, I was at a slumber party, and I overheard one of my really good friends, a best friend of mine, um, talk about me, something about me being fat, and I was so angry, and I felt so the first thing I felt was, sadness, and then it made me feel very lonely and separate, so there was this division, and then I got angry, and then I did something about it. I actually hurt her physically. And this has stayed with me for so many years, for all of these years, that I was so upset that I hurt this girl physically for saying something about me. And, I have, the guilt that I had from that, it has gone away because I know that I was just a little girl and I was going through it. But I know also that it affected me for the rest of my life. Things like that have affected me for the rest of my life. And I see patterns, and I'm starting to see patterns again and again and again in women who have not healed this sisterhood wound completely, or even haven't even looked at it at all. They are the type of women that will blame things externally on other people, not just women, but also men. They will blame what is going on in their own life, um, on other people. Now they might blame it on themselves, and when they do that, they look at other people, they look to other women as the reason why, they must have it all together because they are this kind of person, or they have so much more opportunity than I do, and so this is why I am where I'm at. That's where they're at. I'm starting to get chills right now because it's just like this whew, stuff going through me. So there's a lot of other things that come up too. If you've ever not fully expressed yourself, through voice or through creativity, why is that? Why is that? Maybe it's because you um, didn't want to outshine another woman, because you feared this rejection because you didn't want to feel brighter and bigger than them, so you kept yourself down, you kept like your light dim, out of fear of others um having a certain idea of you based on um how amazing you are, because there are women that look at women that are kicking it, that are doing amazing things in the world, and they automatically have jealousy. They have maybe a sense of, hatred of them, even because of what they are doing in the world and the amazing things that they're doing in the world. Or if they have an amazing voice, or if they're an amazing artist, they will judge. And so, in order to not be judged by women that have not healed their sisterhood wound, they in turn do not heal their own sisterhood wound, in order to not be judged by those women that have also not healed it. So then we've got all of these women in the world that are keeping themselves um, dim, that are dimming their own light, and they're all doing it. They're all dimming their light, right? And then all of them could just start shining so much brighter. All of them could be shining so much brighter, and if they just let go of their fear of each other's judgment. Okay? So, right now, I want you to imagine yourself the brightest that you are. Shh. Imagine yourself this bright, shining star, this golden unicorn energy. Maybe you are wanting to sing a little bit louder. Maybe you're wanting to create something amazing in your business. Maybe you want to collaborate with another woman, but you're too afraid to ask her because you think that she has more to bring to the world than you do, and you are less than, and that is not true. Let go of that right now. Let go of that right now. You are worthy to collaborate with whoever you want to. Let it go. Let it go. You are worthy to be the bright, shining star that you are. And instead of others judging you, it doesn't matter what they think, actually. What matters is the brighter that you shine, the more that they can shine. And then everyone is just these bright, shining stars all over the place. And then you fill up the night sky. You fill up the darkness with your light. Okay? Hmm. Yes. Yes. You fill up the darkness with your light. Yawning. I do that when there's a lot of energy moving. Okay. So, if you're a dancer, dance for you. Be all that you are on the dance floor. And if you do something else where you create through your body, be all that you are through that. It's okay to move and to be around other people and other women that are not being and doing what you're doing and being. Their time will come too when they feel confident enough to be that and do that. Okay. This is what's happened before in my own life. I have dimmed my light because there are other women around me that are afraid of shining bright. And you might look like very different if you are the one that is doing that is shining brightly, that is speaking more loudly, that is speaking more confidently, that is standing upright in a room of people that are lowering their shoulders and lowering their heads. If you are upright and confident, it does look very different. And you might feel uncomfortable. You might feel uncomfortable in that energy of being around other people that are not in that energy, right? But the moment that you become also that energy, then you say it's okay, but it's not okay. And I'll give you this personal experience for me that happened in the last year or two. So I didn't know if I was going to talk about this, but I will, and it's okay. Now, there was something that was happening in the world, and there were things that people were doing that were out of the ordinary. But there was a lot of talk about how all these things that people were doing, they needed to do because it helped the whole. It helped the greater good. As soon as I um, was able to figure this out, as soon as I was able to see it as what it truly was, which was people pleasing, um, and that I knew that I was not a person that wanted to people please anymore, I started to show up as myself and my full expression, tall, confident, unmasked. Yeah, hard to say that. So, um, being in spaces where everyone was covering their faces, this sense of people pleasing that I saw it for what it was, and I knew I didn't want any part of it. It was fucking hard. It was hard to be the one alone that was being unafraid of what other people thought. Now, of course, I always, in the back of my mind, a part of me always cared a little bit about what people thought. But you know what? I lost friends because of this. I lost friends because I was unwilling to be a part of the crowd. And that was hard. But I will tell you this, I have made the most amazing friends that also were all people that were not afraid to lose their friends that were in people pleasing mode. And how this relates to the sisterhood wound. Okay. So we could relate it back to the witch burning times then. Um, when women silenced themselves, when they got along to get along, it was because they were afraid of literally getting killed, literally being burned at the stake for being different, for using medicine, for gathering together in secret, for being fully expressed women with desire. And then there were the women that were afraid of being fully themselves because they did not want to get burned at the stake. Of course, that's totally, totally makes sense. But what happened was that the women that were um, quiet, that didn't take risks, they also did not trust each other because someone could tell on another person, right? They did not trust each other. But the women that knew who they were, that were confident in who they saw each other, and there was this level of, I see you, sister. I'm with you, sister. We're in this together. And I trust you because you trust yourself. Okay. So now the my story of being confident and unmasked, and then other women, seeing other women and men too covering their faces, I see that as, okay, these people, I don't know if I trust them because they don't trust themselves. They trust an external authority. They trust the patriarchy. They trust men. They trust these doctors. They don't trust themselves. How can I fully trust them? How can I fully trust them if they don't even trust themselves? And I see the people that are out there and they trust themselves, they trust their own immune systems, and they are the ones that I then trust. So, question is, are you doing things where you are fully trusting yourself? And if you're not, are you trusting other women? If you don't have a lot of trust in yourself, are you then trusting other women? Yeah, that's a good question. Um, and I want you to right now take out something to write with. And if you have a journal nearby, definitely take that out and write down anything that comes to mind from what we just did. Anything that comes to mind. I invite you to write that down. So I'll give you a few moments to do that. Okay. Hmm. I want you to think about all of the women in your life now. And when you think about all the women in your life right now, what comes up for you? And I mean all the women in your life right now. I'm not talking about just your close friends. Not all the women, of course, but I'm any woman in your life where there's a charge, where there's an emotional charge, good or bad, right? Any woman where there's a charge, past or present. And if you've had any sort of tension with that particular woman, ask yourself where that came from. Really look deeper at your relationships with other women and ask yourself why you have felt certain things about them, even the women that you are closest to and that you love. What Whenever you have like a disagreement with them or if something comes up, um, what's your kind of go-to or default response from that? Is it Do you feel frustration? Do you feel anger? Something doesn't go your way? Do you feel abandonment if someone doesn't call you back right away? A rejection if you um, want to do something and no one's available? Do you start blaming yourself, thinking that you're not good enough for that friendship? These things are really hard to talk about because we don't talk about them enough between our friends. But it's really important. I went many years um, with things unspoken between friendships, and many many years of living at the surface level because I was too afraid to go deep. And I've had friends that have given away secrets before about me, and things that are not things that I wanted to be shared necessarily. So if any of that is resonant with you, go ahead and think about that. Maybe write some stuff down. Hmm. Hmm. And I want you to think about an action step that you could take today. An action step to um, reach out to another woman in some way, and in a way that you've always wanted to, or that you've been working towards maybe in the last little bit, or if you've wanted to say something to someone, or if you've wanted to be more authentic in general. Just think about, you know, something that you've wanted to get off your chest, but you have been afraid of rejection, or you've been afraid of um, not being seen in the same light that you would like to be seen in. Um, and I want you to expand yourself into the possibility that it's okay. And whatever you say, if a friend is a friend, then they are going to still love you and then see you and actually thank you for your vulnerability and your authenticity. And that's what I've found so many times, that the more and more that I open up, the closer the relationship can become. And it has to be done in a way that, where you know that this particular friend is someone you feel safe with to share with. And that's not always easy. um, Especially if you've ever been ghosted, or if you have lost a friendship, um, and it was heartbreaking for you. But I want to invite you to try to just open yourself up more to the women around you, even the ones that you feel are um, in a different vibration than you. And when I say different, I mean like if it's more of like a mentor, even, being able to be open and vulnerable with that person. I think that's really important. Um, yeah. Whew. Thank you for being a part of this. It's not as long as I thought, um, but I really think that a lot was said here. And so please take this. And if you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me. I am here. I am available to chat. If you feel like you want to deepen into this work, into like clearing these sisterhood wounds, you can always book a private session with me, and you know how to do that. And I just want to say that for anyone that's watching this, I truly want the best for all of you, and I love you, and I still have my own layers to unravel with this within myself as well. And it is my prayer that we all just keep working on this, and keep healing all the years and all the generations of wounding that the patriarchy has caused, um, in separating and dividing us as women. Thank you.